I'm Willie Geist, along with Brooke Shields. It's so cool to have you here.
Thank you. I'm so excited to be here.
We're happy to have you here on any day, but especially today. It's sort of a strange VMA day that you, Brooke Shields. You can relate to on so many levels.
Serving my day.
So we're going to do. You were Miley's mother.
I was Hannah Montana's mother. I don't approve.
Yeah, I was going to say, as Hannah Montana's mother, you're watching last night.
Where did I go wrong?
You think to yourself last night, wow.
What have I done? I'm her dead mother. Maybe that's the problem. I'm her dead mother. Maybe that's the problem. I'm her dead mother. Maybe that's the problem. I think that's the issue. I think that's the issue. I think that's the issue. That's the issue. Dude, before the haircut. Before the haircut. I think that's the issue. I think that's the issue. Before the haircut. They totally wrote me out. I just sort of want to know who's advising her and why it's necessary.
Sanctioned by her mother, Terry, on the road to stardom.
I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. I was sort of like a pet. I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. I was like a pet. And Robin probably at that point was going, I don't think this is a good idea. I mean, he also doesn't have to do it. I mean, he also doesn't have to do it. I mean, he also doesn't have to do it. I mean, I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. A pet. I was like a pet. My 7-year-old, your 6-year-old, my 10-year-old, they can't watch that. They can't watch that. They can't watch that. I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. Can't watch that. They can't watch that. That's, no. 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 They can't watch that. Here's the thing. I feel like it's a bit desperate. I mean, are you trying to be Gaga? But Gaga is, desperate.
Well, that's the thing. It feels contrived,
but she can sing. But she can sing beautifully, and I feel like if she lets that lead rather than her bottom lead, other than her bottom lead. Lead.
I've always thought beauty must be as isolating as genius.
And it was leading.
When people look at you, they're so dazzled, you must never know if they actually see you.
Trying so hard to be.
I think it's just a little desperate. So hard.
Trying so hard.
Deep and complicated person you really are. I felt that about you instantly.
And the other siders, as you mentioned, Robin Thicke's got to be out there. He's 30-something, right?
My mother warned me about boys like you. Mama said he's only interested in my Calvins.
Got a young kid.
Right, a kid.
Is that the move right there?
We get a look before we buy.
You want to watch the worst part.
We get a look before we buy.
I was sort of like a pet. I was like a pet. They're stunned.
So
it's stunning.
Here's the question. Is it worse than, say, 1984?
Composer and pretend.
Desperate. Your 6-year-old, my 10-year-old.
Teenage star.
They can't watch that.
She's a teenage star.
Yes, it's funny.
Your 6-year-old, my 10-year-old. They can't watch.
You should mention that. It's not like.
Cue the clip.
Teenage star.
Ready.
Cue the Brooke Shields clip.
How old were you in this ad?
16?
15.
Yeah, I was 15.
And did you have, or your parents have any reservations about you doing that?
We get a look before we buy.
No, because it was not considered that risque.
Teenage star.
And plus, I was very naive. I mean, I wasn't reading into the dialogue.
Teenage star.
I would say things like, well, nothing comes between me and my career, or my mom, or my dog, or...
Life and career is so interesting, and it ties into this Miley Cyrus thing, because if you look at the films you did as a young girl, and you were a girl, you took some heat for nudity and those kind of...
You might call Brooke Shields a teen angel, or Venus in blue jeans, or just a beautiful baby. Brooke has established herself as an actress and sex symbol at an age when most girls are still just girls. At an age when most girls are still